Welcome back to Large Men Abroad. Let's have a talk. Fast food, I have a love or hate relationship with, and I think most people do at this point. It used to be an affordable option that a lot of families would lean on during times of hardship because, we used to have a dollar menu back in the day. Now it's a value menu, but everyone knows that there's no real value to it anymore. It's low quality food, and nowadays it's close to being the same price as it is at most restaurants. So it puts it out of the reach for most low-income families. But what about the people who work there? 20 years ago, I worked at Burger King and Taco Bell for a short stint. And one of the best parts of that was that at the end of your shift or during your lunchtime, you'd be able to get a free meal. But what about paying for meals? The fact is, in America right now, the average fast food worker has to work twice as long to actually buy the food that they're selling than the average worker has to. And this is a major change. Like I said, fast food used to be a very affordable option for everyone, but now it's turning into a luxury. Fast food empires like McDonald's are shutting down stores and laying off workers left and right. And what does that say for the future of one of the most beloved American industries, fast food? A recent survey found that employees who work at restaurants like McDonald's and Taco Bell have to work twice as long as the average US worker to afford a typical fast food meal. Using labor statistics, financial platform LendingTree compared the wages of fast food and counter workers to the average money people make in every other career field. The study found that the recent skyrocketing prices of fast food are coinciding with a growing gap between the wages of an average US worker and restaurant staff. The average fast food employee has to work 46 minutes to purchase a typical combo meal nationwide, which averages out to $11.56 according to LendingTree. Meanwhile, the average American worker only needs to work 21.2 minutes to afford the same meal. Plus, fast food meal prices might get even higher now after President Donald Trump's sweeping global tariffs kicked in last month from beef to palm oil and coffee. Food giants are dealing with the rising cost, and many could pass those costs on to the customers. For example, McDonald's sources beef from Australia, which now faces a 10% tariff. This means that McDonald's beloved Big Mac could soon cost even more. Like I said, it's a trend that we've been seeing for a while. Fast food's getting more expensive, but at the same time, people are still buying. It's a rare thing that you go to actually get fast food and there isn't a line in the drive-thru that's going around the store. People are still buying. But how is that possible? The cost of living as high as it is right now and consumer sentiment at an all-time low. The fact is, Americans do have a spending problem. And when things get more expensive, it's very rare that they downsize their spending. Often they'll just lean on credit cards thinking that they'll be able to pay it off in the future. But unfortunately, this puts them in the position later on that they're stuck with even more debt. And as the cost of living goes continually higher and inflation kicks in even more, that puts them in the position where they have to pay off the minimum payments almost indefinitely in a non-amortized schedule. It means that you're going to pay it off for life because credit cards aren't designed for you to pay off. That's why they're revolving payments. They expect you to make these payments indefinitely. And this is a major problem for Americans because, as I said, credit card debt and the accumulation within the household of credit card debt right now is at an all-time high. People aren't spending less, they're spending more because people don't want to cut down on their lifestyle. It's a major problem within our culture in America that in times of hardship, we don't know how to be frugal. At least this is something that really does seem to hit within the working class more than anything, because portraying lifestyle is often more important than actually living that lifestyle. So people continue to spend to keep up that image of affluence. This is unlike what you see in middle class, upper middle class families who do tend to downsize to lower class stores to be more frugal and actually work with the flow of consumer sentiment. But what does that say about our economy and our culture when the fast food workers can't even afford to eat the food that they're selling? It says that it's unfair, that none of this is fair. And while people may say that, hey, life isn't fair, at the same time, the economic system that we live in requires us to participate within consumer expectations. But when you price out a sector of the working class from actually being able to participate within those consumer expectations, people just aren't going to be spending anymore. It gets to the point where these credit cards are going to be maxed out and people just aren't going to be able to buy anymore, even if they wanted to. Even for the fast food companies who rely on sales and coupons to draw consumers in, that means they're eating away at their margin of profit. Eventually, you can only have so many Band-Aids on this system before it bleeds out. And America's economy, especially within fast food, is bleeding out, death by 1,000 cuts. The profit just isn't there anymore because you've changed the culture of what fast food was. Fast food was supposed to be a cost-effective and cheap option for people who didn't have much money, for people who couldn't go to restaurants. I mean, that's what it was when I was a kid. You know, if it was payday, if you're not going to be able to afford to go to a restaurant, guess what? Get the family together. We're going to go get some Whoppers. We're going to go get a Big Mac. And that's a good time. And those are memorable times for families. But with the prices continuing to go up, it makes more sense now for families to just bypass fast food, wait for a payday, and then go to an average, normal, still cost-effective restaurant where the food's going to be of higher quality and the customer service is going to be of higher quality. Because with cutting costs and at the same time driving up prices, you have a bunch of employees who are going to resent you because they see that their wages aren't going up while the price of everything is. And although you may justify that and say, well, the cost of everything is getting more expensive, so we need to charge more, you put people in the position where working at fast food isn't a viable option of employment anymore. So good luck actually getting people to flip burgers or to be at the counter any longer. Because after enough time, like I said, it's just not a viable option. And it already isn't a viable option. If you're a kid living at home, if you're someone who's older and you just want to get back in the workforce a little bit for socialization, then yeah, fast food makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for anyone else to work at, really. It's not a living wage. It's not even a poverty wage. The only prospective applicants in the future that you're going to get for fast food are going to be people who are living in their cars who can just live in the parking lot. Because that's the only lifestyle it's going to be able to afford at that point. I don't know if fast food workers still get free meals, but you know, it just doesn't seem fair, does it? It doesn't seem fair. You know, it's not easy work to work a fast food job. People look at it like it's easy, but it's not. You're on your feet the entire time. You're moving back and forth constantly. You have to deal with customers and you got to get these orders out. It's actually not an easy job. Is it a high thinking job? No, not necessarily, but you got to get in a rhythm of things. And it's not too easy. So to have the pay be barely above a minimum wage, while at the same time expecting employees to really give their all to have the customer service meet the standards that the corporations are expecting, is asking a lot but giving a little. It's not fair practice, really. And with the implementation of AI to take away from the face-to-face customer service that you get at fast food, it only seems inevitable that they're going to continue to cut employees from working at these facilities. But at the same time, they're not going to be paying the employees who are still going to be there anymore. You know, they're not going to be paying them extra. So I guess in the end, what we're going to see is the fast food culture, the fast food industry completely change as people just can't afford to work there. Because the people who work there certainly can't afford to eat there. And if that's the case, it's all just looking negative, really. It's looking negative for the entire industry. Personally, as a fast food connoisseur myself, I eat fast food. Is it rare? Yeah, it's rare. But at the same time, I like to go. But do I use the coupons? Absolutely. Because it's not an affordable option. Like I said, you know, but if you do use some of the apps, there's still some coupons out there. And honestly, it actually takes the price back like what it was 10 years ago. So my wife, I'll be on the way, be like, hey, do you want McDonald's? And she'll be like, she'll send me a coupon code and essentially cut the total cost down by 25 to 50%, or you'll just get some stuff for free. Because if it wasn't for that, there's no way that we would be eating at these places. You know, as much as I like a Big Mac, right? As much as I like a Whopper, I'm not going to be eating there. Not if the costs are that high. Who's paying $12 for a Big Mac value meal? And everyone knows that the burgers themselves are getting smaller, so what's the point? Just make it yourself. Go get a frozen pack of Bubba burgers and make them at home. It's fast food quality right there, and you don't have to deal with the surly, angry people at the window who are underpaid and can't even afford to eat there. It's rough stuff. But just to tap into the kind of public sentiment of people who don't want to go eat fast food anymore, I think this is a good video.
absolutely refuse to buy fast food because I can't justify the value. I'm in New Jersey. I'm not paying $12.99 for a fucking Big Mac when I could go to my favorite restaurant, get a real fucking burger and french fries for like $17. And simply because of that, I will not fucking buy fast food. Now, Costco food court's a little bit different. That one was where I used to go to cheat when I fucking was still battling myself. You can get 2 slices of pizza and a chicken bake for like $7.
And there it is. You might as well just go to a restaurant now, because getting fast food is essentially the same price. Are you going to pay a couple dollars extra? Maybe you can find a deal at another restaurant and actually pay less than you would at fast food. That is completely possible to do now. And like I said, it's a shame, because I think fast food is part of our culture. Is it unhealthy? Yeah, but it's a nice treat every now and then. And that's how you should do it. You should treat it like a treat. Don't lean on fast food like it's supposed to be the mainstay of your diet. Absolutely not, and it'll kill you. But, a nice treat every now and then. It's a shame that it costs as much to go to a restaurant, because it really used to fill a need for people who didn't have much money. And now it's become a luxury. And American people just kind of giving up on fast food. So it is what it is. Anyway, thank you for the support as always. If you're still here at this point, hey, like and subscribe. We got memberships. Go ahead and join that. It is kind of sad to see all these things kind of fall apart, because I feel like we're seeing a disintegration or dismantling, in a way, economically, of the American experience that a lot of us grew up with, for better or for worse. But it seems to be moving into a different era now, and we'll see where that goes. But again, thanks for stopping by, everyone. We hope you have a good one.